Hello, students. Well, we've made it to the end of the last group of verb tenses. These are known as the perfect continuous tenses. And just like the other three groups, the simple tenses, the continuous tenses, and the perfect tenses, these will also have three categories: the present, the past, and the future. So today we're going to talk about the present perfect continuous. Excuse me. So as I mentioned before when we did the continuous tenses, whenever you have a verb tense that is called continuous, it can also be known as progressive. So depending on what you're looking at, you might hear this tense called the present perfect continuous or the present perfect progressive. Okay, so let's talk about what this tense is used for. Okay, it's used to talk about actions that started in the past and continue into the present moment. Excuse me. So if you remember with just the present continuous tense, when we use that tense, we're talking about something that's happening right now. I am talking, she is sleeping, the dog is barking. So this tense is similar, except what it really demonstrates is that the action began earlier and it's still happening. So some examples of that might be, for example, right now I think a storm is coming. So I could say there's something wrong with the electricity, or it's the storm, and the lights have been flickering. And flickering means going on and off and on and off. So I could say the lights are flickering, and that is the present continuous, and it means right now. But if I really need you to know that this started earlier and it's still happening, that's when I need this tense, the present perfect continuous. So there I would say again, the lights have been flickering, or the dog has been barking. So yes, the dog is barking right now, but this started earlier. You might say, she has been sleeping. So it started earlier that she was sleeping and she continues to sleep. Let me give you another example. He has been paying his bills on time. Again, it started earlier in the past and he continues to pay his bills on time. So when we use this tense, it says it usually emphasizes duration or the amount of time that an action has been taking place. So if I can remember those examples I just gave you, I could say the lights have been flickering for 30 minutes, or she has been sleeping for 4 hours. The dog has been barking all night. Okay, so again, with this tense, you will usually give the amount of time that the action that started in the past and is still happening. You will usually express like how long that has been going on. Okay, so the next thing is, how do we form the present perfect continuous? Well, just a reminder, we've got the word continuous. So that tells me that the verb must end with the three letters ing. So let's take a look at it. So we are going to use have or has with the correct subject pronoun, the word been, and the present participle, or the verb with ing. So let's take a minute and review present participles. Okay, they always end in ing and are used for continuous tenses. That's the present participles. Okay, now past participles, they often end in ed, or they can be irregular forms of the verb, such as gone and been, and they are used for perfect tenses. All right, so how do we form affirmative sentences? All right, so here it is. We're going to have been and the present participle, or the verb with ing. So, for example, I have been working. Now, we can also contract I have and say I've been working. You have been working, or we can contract you have and say you've been working. We have been working, contraction, we've been working. They have been working, contraction, they've been working. And he has been working, in a contraction, it would be he's been working. So remember that he's can also be he is in some sentences. Not this one. This one would be a contraction for he has. And it's the same for the other two pronouns. So she has been working. Contracted would be she's been working. Not she is been, she has been working. It has been working in a contraction is it's been working. So let me just pronounce the contractions one more time. I've, you've, we've, they've, he's, she's, it's. Now, to make those negative, we simply have to add the word not to the sentence. And we put the word not between have and been. So negative, I have not been working. You have not been working. We have not been working. They have not been working. He has not been working. She has not been working. It has not been working. Now, of course, you can still make contractions in the negative. So, I have not been working would be I haven't been working. And the same thing, you haven't been working. We haven't been working. They haven't been working. And for he, she, and it would be he hasn't been working. She hasn't been working. And it hasn't been working. Okay, just like the other tenses, when we make a yes-no question, all we have to do is reverse the subject pronoun and the word have and change places, and then we have a yes-no question. So affirmative sentence and affirmative sentence would be I have been working. To turn that into a yes-no question, reverse the position of the first two words and make that have I been working? And you would answer Someone would say, yes, you have, or no, you haven't. If someone asks you, have you been working? You could respond, yes, I have, or no, I haven't. So affirmative, we have been working. Turning that into a yes/no question would be, have we been working? And again, if someone asked that, you would respond, yes, you have, or no, you haven't. Have they been working? Yes, they have. No, they haven't. Okay, has she been working? Yes, she has. No, she hasn't. Has he been working? Yes, he has, or no, he hasn't. Has it been working? Yes, it has, or no, it hasn't. Okay, and lastly, with the questions, if you want to make an information question, you simply put the WH word in front of the yes/no question that we just did. So once again, those WH words are who, what, when, where, why, and how. So earlier we said, have I been working? Now we want to know more information. Where have I been working? Where have you been working? Where have we been working? Where have they been working? Where has she been working? Where has he been working? And where has it been working? All right, let's look at a few examples of this tense. Okay, the first example is they have been sleeping for over 2 hours. So again, to form it, you have been, and the verb with ing. So this means whoever they are, they started sleeping earlier and they still continue to do it. And the duration is mentioned for over 2 hours, for longer than 2 hours. Okay, I have been eating too much sugar lately. So again, I started that action of eating too much sugar before I continued to do so. And the duration, or the length of time, is not very clear, but it's lately, which is similar to recently. All right, Maria has been waiting for the bus for 40 minutes. Maria started that action earlier and still continues. And the duration of time is mentioned for 40 minutes. What have you been doing recently? Excuse me. So again, this is an information question. And it's even asking like for the period of time, which is not super clear, but recently, like not long ago or lately. All right, here's another one. She has been trying to call you all day. So the form has been, the verb try with ing, and the duration, how long has she been doing this? All day. All right, he has not been exercising. Well, the duration isn't listed there, but it could be implied. He hasn't been exercising recently or for a very long time. Another one, I have been studying for my math test all afternoon. So again, here we have been, the verb study with ing. I started doing this action of studying earlier, and I continue to do it. In fact, I've been doing it all afternoon. The squirrels have been eating all the corn that I put out for them. So Again, the squirrels is like saying they have been, eat with ing, eating, all the corn that I put out for them. So we didn't list an exact time again in this sentence, but it means probably recently or lately. And last one, the baby has been crying for a long time. So baby, he or she, has been, the verb cry with ing, and how long has this action been happening? For a long time. So again, when using the present perfect continuous, it's to talk about an action that happened, that began earlier and still continues. And often when we use this tense, we will tell the duration of how long that action's been going on. So that is all, and I will see you on the next one.